I'd like to call the meeting to order Monday, April 6, 6:30 of the City of Portage Planning Commission. If we can all rise for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, can you call roll?
Jim Wiseman. Here. Bill Moran.
Here.
Brent Wright. Here. Sam LeBoy.
Here.
Jeremiah Montgomery.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez.
Here.
Alonzo Garcia.
Here.
Thank you. Do we have an approval of the minutes for March 2nd, 2026? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the prior minutes.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Are there any reports from the officers or committees?
No reports.
Thank you. So we have new business. We have the M-01-26 resolution from the Redevelopment Commission for the Southport Economic Development Area, designating a new allocation area, Kayak Point A allocation area. Resolution 2026.03 conforms to the plans of development for the City of Portage Southport Economic Development Area. You're up.
Thank you, members of the commission and Ms. President. The action before you this evening is no different than the action that was taken previously on the Simon allocation area provisions that was done earlier in the year. So just to give you a recap, on February 26, 2026, the Redevelopment Commission passed an amending declaratory resolution that removed a portion of the allocation area out and pruned it for a number of parcels, 5 to 7 parcels, that are located generally on US Route 20 Mountain Road corridor on the south, I-94 on the north, Salt Creek on the east, and Samuelson Road on the west. Previously vacant land, with the exception of the Salt Creek Estates, which was at one time a mobile park housing or mobile home development. That was since bought, removed, and it was vacant land but improved. The current owners are looking at developing the 40 acres for a mixed-use, light manufacturing, light land use of between 200 and 225,000 square feet for their operations. It is an investment of between $25 to $30 million in real property, $8 to $10 million in private investment in depreciable personal property, and that would be known as Tenant A, for a total of $32 to $40 million. The action before you then is by statute. Anytime a redevelopment commission amends a declaratory resolution, which the Southport allocation area falls under, the allocation area is part of the Southport Economic Development Area. The action basically took out the parcels from the Southport allocation area and then reintroduced them as the Kayak Point A allocation area. The Southport Economic Development Area has not changed. The land use for the US 20 Mountain Road corridor is the same. It's consistent with the Southport Economic Development Plan for the Economic Development Area. It is consistent with the comprehensive plan that is currently existing for the city. So really it's a financial action, but under the statute for redevelopment law, 36-7-14 under sections 15 to 17.5. It's required that anytime you amend the declaratory, it has to go before the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission provides a resolution as a written order and finding of fact, and as an advisory board commission to the council, it is then forwarded to the council for their action. So what we're requesting this evening is approval of a resolution that approves the amending declaratory resolution 2026-01 of the Redevelopment Commission as in compliance with the comprehensive plan of the city and the land use provisions of the Southport Economic Development Area. In a nutshell, that's it.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Scott, would we need to read the titling of the resolution for record? Thank you. At this time, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just, if I may, as a supplement, this resolution will go before the council tomorrow evening. If the council takes common council takes action, there will be a notice of a public hearing on April 23rd for the Redevelopment Commission, and they will consider all the actions in the approval process to confirm the amending declaratory. So you're part of the process, and I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next matter of business, we have SP-01-26, Who Brew LLC, care of Laura Pacino, 100 Powell Place, Suite 1230, Nashville, Tennessee, seeking site plan approval to construct a 2-lane drive-through for a 7-brew coffee shop, 510 square feet with a detached cooler of 238 square foot located at 6283 US Highway 6. Please come up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you. Good. Okay, perfect. So, I am Laura Pacino here on behalf of Who Brew LLC, the second largest franchisee for 7-Brew. 7-Brew is a double drive-through coffee concept. We are 510 square feet with a 238 separate dry storage cooler building. I will move on. We are taking over what is now the former Napa Auto Parts. They have vacated as of March 30th. And the existing zoning for the area is C2, which is medium and large-scale commercial. Here's a bit of our menu. So if you're not very familiar with us, like I said, we are a drive-through coffee concept. There is no indoor dining. There is no outdoor dining. We base everything off of what we call the 7 originals. And then what makes us different from everybody else is the types of syrups that we have. We are a TikTok craze, and between all of the syrups, you can make over 40,000 different drink options. Our core demographic is 15 to 25-year-olds. We do not sell alcohol. We sell coffee, fizz soda, energy drinks, smoothies, milkshakes, and we have one food option. It is a muffin top. When I get to the picture, the parapet that stands up is called a muffin top. It comes from our supplier. We open up the box. I think there's 4 flavors, like chocolate chip, blueberry, lemon, and maybe original. We dump them out of the box. It's probably 1% of our sales. As I said, we're taking over the Napa Auto Parts on Route 6 across from the high school. And then here is our site plan. So you will drive in off of Scottsdale and go to the right and circulate around the building. Using the double drive-through, there is a stacking of 45 cars. There is a bypass lane, which can fit probably another 7 to 8 cars, bringing the stacking up into the low 50s. Here is the landscaping plan. One thing to really focus on in conversations with Dina and the city is up in the northwest corner, we have added more deciduous trees, and then right in between, right in front of the parking and the building, we have added more shrubbery as requested by the BZA. This is a rendering of what the building looks like, along with our signage. So our medallion goes on the front of the building. This is the rear. There are no menu boards. Once you come in, we follow the Chick-fil-A model. Our employees come out with iPads, take your order, and then you move forward. We do not have a pickup window. We have patio doors, so somebody physically comes out and brings you your drink. The turnaround time from ordering to getting your drink is 3 to 4 minutes, dependent upon where you are in the line. But like I said, they're on iPads, so they can facilitate through the line. Should the line get too large and we start tracking into the parking areas, we also have the capabilities to open up a third drive-through lane and make the bypass lane a third lane to keep traffic moving. This is an east elevation. You see the drive-through doors. And then this is more specifically our signage. We are not putting up a monument or pylon sign as it needed to be in between the ingress and egress on the dead-end road, and that site just does not make sense. And then here is a color board of what the colors will look like.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I did have a two-part question regarding the traffic that's sometimes associated with Seven Brew locations. I noticed that during peak hours, sometimes those lines can back up into main roadways. Can you speak to how traffic flow has been evaluated for this site, in particular with the access being off of Scottsdale as opposed to Route 6? And then secondly, it sounds like for this site, the proposed 45 capacity stacked lanes, and then I noticed that there's the lot with the 19 stalls. Are those considerations that were made to help mitigate some of those concerns around traffic that you may experience?
What do you mean the 19 stalls?
Is there, so
Are you talking about stacking?
no, so is there a lot as well?
No, this is our parking, which is for employees only.
Okay, perfect.
So we will never turn away a customer. That being said, we would direct them to the non-drive-through side of the building should they, in this scenario, extra awkward, they would have to park and then walk through the landscaping to the other side of the building, where we will then take their order and give them their drink. In regards to stacking, our stacking in the Chicagoland area, we are averaging low 30s. That is what our traffic studies report to. Like I said, this is 45 with 2 lanes. We're looking at low 50s. This is, I would say, if not the largest stacking that we have right now, it is definitely in the top 3 of all of the stands that we're working. Specifically, I can speak to Dyer. Dyer was the first stand that we did in Indiana. It's not a great layout. It's we can all speak to that. It's a zipper, so it starts into one lane and then goes into two. We will never do that type of concept again. In addition to being open in Dyer, Crown Point, and Valparaiso, working with you guys in Portage, we are also in for permit in LaPorte, Michigan City, and then in entitlement in Hammond, Sherrville, opening May 4th in Maryville, in front of At Home, under entitlement in Hobart in what was the TGI Friday supposed to be Raising Cane's. So we are prepared. Our team is fully aware of how our concept has taken the Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana by storm. I will say when we opened up specifically Dyer, stacking around the country is 15. Kind of going backwards a little bit, the concept was started in 2017, grew very slowly. At the end of 2024, there were just over 100 stands open around the country. Now there are over 625. We have probably 7 of the top 10 stands in the entire country and have since they have opened. We have one of the number 1 stands since the day that it has opened, and it has never lost that number 1 standing out of 500 or out of 625 stands. So part of the reason too is our team is trained on traffic management. Not only will we hire additional employees for traffic overflow, we're also happy to work with the municipality on a traffic overflow plan. But we will also, we have a specific third-party traffic control management team. So on grand openings, swag days, promotional days, should the need arise, they're already prepared and ready to go out to help facilitate that traffic.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, that Dyer location, that was the point of contention for me. That was my concern,
Yep.
was seeing how chaotic it's been over in that area. And so I just wanted to make sure that those considerations were made
100%.
when you guys looked to come here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I want to say the stacking for Dyer is probably 18. So we're quadrupling that here.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I witnessed what happened at Valparaiso. I think the thing that's different about this than Valparaiso, there you're right on Calumet. And it affected coming into Calumet. Here, all these are going to be frontage roads that it will affect. So it won't affect any main traffic. But how many people did you say that are going to be taking orders at the beginning?
So it varies. I mean, typically, we usually operate with, about a team of 10. But if we need people to come outside to take orders, like I said, we have the capabilities to make that bypass lane a third drive-through lane with our POS system. We will do that to alleviate traffic, to make sure, I mean, there is no way we will back up onto Route 6. And obviously, again, our team is very, very trained. If we need to move, an egress, we will facilitate that too. If it also means, I think this is a dead end, or I think it might in the future be going back to some homes. Again, our team is fully trained with our traffic management on how to alleviate that traffic and make sure that keep the flow is going. That is also the reason why we do not have an app. We do not do DoorDash. I want to say Instacart, Uber Eats. It's all about the throughput in getting people placing your order and getting your drink and continuing on.
Thank you. Now, my concern is with pedestrians, or since you're talking, your target audience is 15-year-olds to 25-year-olds, it's near the high school, kids walking, bicycles, riding their bikes, scooters, or whatever else there may be to get there. Is there a plan for that type of customer versus those that are in cars? You mentioned the other side of the building, something to that nature. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So I will say at this point, there's not. This is probably our fourth go-around with this planning department and their comments, and that was never brought up as needing to have any outdoor seating.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about seating, just the service for walk-up, exactly.
So in this photo, you can see here on the left-hand side, this is where, oops, sorry, didn't mean to move it. This is where we can direct people to, to getting their drinks. If they want to walk across the street from the high school, we can definitely add a crosswalk. I'm trying to see if there's a crosswalk added. It doesn't look like it. But if I'm remembering, Dina, didn't we have a conversation about not specifically adding a crosswalk? Okay, I might be getting my sites confused, because there was one site that I've been working with the Plan Commission where they did not want to add a crosswalk within to encourage the walk-up capabilities, since that is not what our forefront of services. Again, we don't, like, it's not that we don't offer it, we don't tell people we do it, we wouldn't turn away a customer, but it's not something that is offered, really. But if that is what Plan Commission wants to see, we can add in a walkway. If the light is down here, but there are no sidewalks.
Question, operational-wise, am I hear you saying that you're not exactly geared to have walk-up customers?
We do
or-
not. That is not part of the operational plan. Unless it's required by a municipality to have an outdoor seating, we do not do that. That is, in our respect, it takes away from the line of cars. Now you have one person that's facilitating one person that's standing there instead of a group of cars that can go through and have the throughput. But again, understanding that there's a high school across the street, we can add in a crosswalk. Probably, I would need to talk to my team about where we can add a crosswalk so that people can make it safely through the egress of the cars leaving and then around the building.
Well, for me, it's just not the availability of the crosswalk. How are you going to handle, you're dealing with like the largest high school in Northwest, one of the largest high schools in Northwest Indiana. So it's, you could end up with a mob around the facility if you're not equipped to handle walk-up customers.
I mean, if that's if in our first couple weeks opening, we will just staff more people to facilitate whether or not you guys have off-campus lunch, or when school gets out and that seems to be a busier time, then we will have more staff present to be able to handle the additional customers.
But are you saying your business model is for walk-up or not?
It is not for walk-up.
Okay, so then wouldn't you just want to leave it with no walk-up?
Ideally, yes, but if what Plan Commission wants to see is a walk-up due to the location nearest with the high school, we have done it before where we've added a table in an instance where that's what a municipality wanted. We're happy to do that, but it is not what our business model and what the entire business model across the country is.
Well, I'd have grave concerns about kids walking across the state highway with high speeds in that
Which is-
location. That would be really scary.
Which is why I want to say, when having conversations with Dina and the Plan Commission, we did not go that route. If I want to remember correctly, and this has been a long process, I want to say, since like July of last year, I want to say that was exactly why we didn't do that, because there was concern about crossing Route 6.
Tom, can you elaborate a little bit on what the discussion was with the crosswalks or no crosswalks or?
We just don't want walk-ups. It's a closed campus. What they do after school is up to them, but we don't want walk-ups. I personally don't want to encourage walk-ups, so.
Thank you.
I feel like a lot of us are forgetting that most of these kids, once school's out, are getting on a bus or getting in a car with their friend. They're not walking. You know, they're not walking down 6 to their house that doesn't exist there. You know what I
Which
mean?
means at that point, Brett, they can get in the car and go over and get what they want.
That's my point. Like, I don't know why, like,
But they do have a large amount of after-school activities, the kids that do stay after there, the band, the athletics. And that's my concern. We can say all we want that we're not going to have a crosswalk and there's not going to be a walk-up. But as we know, we're dealing with adolescents. What we tell them and what they do are two different things. So that's my only concern. I don't want to suggest that you do it. It's just that I'm trying to foresee a problem that could happen. when
Well,
you
most
first
of these
open.
places are in residential areas or in the area. What do you have as far as walk-ups in the other?
Again, if a municipality forces us to put a table, we will, but again, I couldn't even tell you. I would honestly say it's probably or 1%. I mean, you're not going to have, I mean, we could take I'll just take Maryville, for instance. You could have somebody from at home walk over to go and get their coffee. You're not or somebody from the Aldi across the street. I can't stop them from crossing 30 to come and get their coffee. But again, it's not something that we advertise as part of our business model. And since our core group and customer is 15 to 25-year-olds, most of them know. I'm also going to take a general assumption here and assume that most 15 to 25-year-olds aren't going to voluntarily walk anywhere. So they are, to your point, going to get in the car with 5 of their friends and drive over.
Any more discussion? Do I have a motion?
has the contingency been filled with stormwater?
It has not. They'll be going to the stormwater board on Thursday.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve SP-01-26 as proposed, but with the attached contingency.
Do I have a
Second.
second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have new business with a public hearing for Z-03-26 Old Hoff Homes. Do we open it? Mr. Secretary, do we have the presentation first, or do we open the public hearing first? Thank you. Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Whenever you're ready.
Yep, sorry, the presentation's not displaying properly on here. Well, no, this, I know the adapter works. I did test this before. It's on my computer here. I apologize. I just always seem to have the worst luck with my presentations.
Yeah. I did, yep.
You guys have a site plan or anything you may pull up?
Or do you want to email me PowerPoint? You can use my.
Actually, it's in the SharePoint link that you have as well. Yeah, I did upload that in there earlier today.
You gonna show me yours, Tom? Yeah, let me find it for sure before I plug it in.
It seems like it's Adobe probably. Do you have the Microsoft PowerPoint itself?
Yeah, that's in the
Seems
files
like
too.
the Fox, I think, crashed, so. Try opening it.
Well, just as a reminder for those watching, we are looking at Old Huff Homes that are requesting a favorable recommendation for a change of zoning from M2 multifamily residential to IS institutional use, consisting of 1.195 acres at the 3600 block of Airport Road on the east side.
Probably early last week. I had both formats in there.
So his is definitely not gonna work.
I just emailed you a site plan.
What did you? Yeah. Yeah, it's not coming out on my computer. Yeah.
Just not showing up or something?
Yeah, I had it on here, but it wasn't,
Oh, okay.
it's just the program's not responding,
I see what
so
you're saying.
it's not displaying.
If you restart the computer, you think that might help?
It might.
Roll that, if this computer comes
But-
back on, we'll get it. You might want to restart.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Let me see it.
Yeah, I don't have any attachment.
And I checked this as soon as I came in here before the meeting, and it was working fine, and then, of course, it's.
Well, that's good enough.
Okay, I think I got it.
So you need to switch something.
Yep, I got it.
When I get our money's worth time, I guess.
All right. Okay. Again, I apologize for that. So I'm Kevin Pasco. I'm joined by Ed Rechtenwall. We're from Olthoff Homes. Our office is located at 8051 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana. We're here tonight to request favorable recommendations for 2 rezones from M2 to PDM2 and then M2 to IS, as well as our PD preliminary development plan for a new residential project we're calling Timberstone. We were previously at the January 5th, 2026 Plan Commission meeting for a sketch plan review of this project, and there were numerous comments that had come up from several commission members, and I'll cover how we address those over the course of the presentation, as well as comments from staff from our DRC meeting. So I'll go ahead and run through my presentation, take any questions or comments, and then we'll proceed with the public hearing. So the site is composed of 1 parcel totaling about 42 acres, located on the east side of Airport Road. Geographically, it's directly north of the Farmington subdivision, west of existing unincorporated farmland, east of the Preston Trails subdivision, and then south of the landings at Portage commercial subdivision. This is in the southeast corner of the city and is near the furthest reaches of development in that part of the city. So in reviewing your comprehensive plan, which is a little bit dated at this point, the projected zoning for the parcel and indeed this entire vicinity developed differently than what was specified in that. So we've taken our cues from our goals for the city from either things they've stated in meetings or other developments that have taken place in the last 12 to 18 months. So we've identified that the city does strive to provide a mix of housing products to have wider appeal to current and future residents, both economically and demographically, and then also to try and provide more missing middle housing that would help support the local economy and the growth that's been occurring in the last several years with new business, commercial, and industrial development in the city. So this project would aid in allowing those workforces for new and existing businesses to be able to live in close proximity, not only to where they work, but also to major thoroughfares such as State Roads 130 and 6, and then Willow Creek Road, with then interstates on the north side of the city. So residential is the dominant use for the parcels in this vicinity, so it's logical that this would transition from being an agricultural use, and then, because that's the trend in the area. We also envision this project as a different kind compared with our River Trace or our Sweetwater project, or indeed other projects from other developers in the city, since this is all single-family attached products, which really aren't offered brand new with any high frequency in the city. So we strongly believe that this fills a void in the housing market in this part of the county that just simply isn't being met. So moving on to the proposed zoning for the project, the parcel currently has M2 zoning, which was granted last year via ordinance 25-26 by the City Council at their May 12th meeting. This was done in conjunction with Simon CRE's request to rezone the north portion to C2 commercial to allow for the landings at Portage subdivision. As I mentioned at the top of the meeting, we have 2 requests for the rezoning of our parcel. So the first is for the residential portion, which is shown in red on the screen here, to be rezoned from M2 to PDM2. So this encompasses 41.186 acres of the property and will cover the multiple housing types that we are proposing. The other request is for the institutional portion in the northwest corner, which is shown in brown, to be rezoned from M2 to IS. This encompasses 1.195 acres of the property and would cover the fire station parcel that the city has requested. And now, diving further into the concept plan and the changes we've made from our last meeting, we're still proposing 3 different housing types. The first of these are 34 single-family attached paired cottages, or 68 total units, 90-foot wide by 125-foot deep lots. So these would match the paired cottage units that we are currently building in River Trace, and then that we plan to build in Sweetwater. And we were cognizant of the need for buffering the adjacent uses in this particular case. So there's smaller lot, single-family detached homes in Preston Trails and Farmington. So we made sure to locate the paired cottage units along the west and the south sides to establish that buffer. We're also proposing 88 single-family attached, 1-car, 2-story, front-loaded townhomes, which will be 22 feet wide by 81.5 feet deep per unit, or 176 feet wide by 81.5 feet deep per block of units. And each building is an 8-unit building in this case. This is a new housing product that we've just started to roll out in our newer Lake and Porter County projects. So these could be a great fit for individuals looking to move out on their own for the first time, which we feel is a need in the greater Northwest Indiana housing market. Again, that's not being met. So this again offers a buffer on the north side between our most intense residential use and then the target and other commercial users directly north of that. Then the third and final product that we are proposing are 112 single-family attached 2-car, 2-story front-loaded townhomes, which will be 26 feet wide by 85 feet deep, or a minimum of 104 feet wide by 85 feet deep per block of units. And these will have either 4-unit or 6-unit buildings. This is also a new housing product that we're rolling out, and this would be our first Porter County project that we've proposed these in. As I mentioned before, we're well aware that Portage has been a very booming place with residential development, and we'd be glad to debut a brand new product type here and just offer another housing option for current and/or prospective residents. So you might have heard me mention that these townhomes are front-loaded, and so by that I mean that each unit has the 1 or 2-car driveway and garage in the front of the unit. This is in contrast to the townhomes that we're currently building in River Trace, which are rear-loaded with the 2-car garage facing an alleyway in the rear of the unit. So all of these units in this particular project being front-loaded allows for more green space in the rear of the units since we don't need that alleyway in the rear. Another item I would note with the townhomes themselves is that they will be sold fee simple individually, so each unit will have its own deed for the 22-foot by 81.5-foot 1-car townhome or the 26-foot by 85-foot 2-car townhome lot that someone will own. So these will not be rental units. All units over the entire project will be owner-occupied, and they will be marketed and sold as such, just like in River Trace. So this plan has a total of 268 units with a density of 6.32 dwelling units per acre. Even though that may sound like a large number of units, in actuality, this is almost downzoning the parcel, since base M2 zoning would allow us to propose multifamily apartment buildings that could have 16 dwelling units per building across the entire 42 acres, which would most likely result in a larger number of units by a significant margin than what we're currently proposing. We also show the 1-acre parcel in the northwest corner that's intended to be used for a future fire station for the city. We were approached by the fire department last fall asking if we would assist them with siting a new satellite fire station in this vicinity, and we were glad to help them out with that. So we held a staff meeting back in November with Chief Crail, where we discussed this project, and our proposed location and the size of the parcel were well received. So all that being said, We believe that many aspects of the proposed site fit with the goals from both the comprehensive plan and the city meetings that I listed earlier, as well as the original intent of Simon CRE when the rezoning was approved at the Plan Commission and City Council last year. So those would include having a residential development in an area that's currently experiencing residential growth, providing multiple product types with 3 different types of single-family attached housing products, offering a wider variety than what straight M2 zoning would allow, and then providing more attainable housing for all age and/or economic demographics. So we think projects like this have a much wider appeal other than providing one product type. Not that those types of projects aren't needed or successful in the city or elsewhere in Northwest Indiana, but having multiple product types certainly does expand the pool of prospective residents who may want to live and work in Portage. So now shifting gears to the open space and amenities, we're allotting about 16.5 acres of the project for detention pond and amenities. So on the west side, we've planned a landscape berm along Airport Road, a covered shelter area, a gas fire pit, and some seating, as well as landscaping around all of that. There was a comment from the last Plan Commission about relocating this to be near the detention pond for scenic purposes. But we do typically like to locate these near our entrances to sort of break up the streetscape a bit. And we also envision potentially, firefighters walking across the street and utilizing that equipment just to get some fresh air to relax for a little bit. Then on the east side, just south of the detention pond, we've planned a dog park that will have some seating and a few pieces of equipment for dogs to interact with. So aside from those amenities, I did also want to touch on a few items for the open space that will be provided. So we will have a landscape berm along the park space. However, we also have one proposed just off the screen there to the unit south of that along Airport Road. There's also going to be miscellaneous landscaping and other outlots throughout the project that aren't shown close up here, as well as on-lot landscaping that will be provided for each individual unit. We do have a very large detention pond planned, so we will most likely either have several smaller fountains or one large fountain, not only to help with aeration of the water to prevent stagnation, but also to make it a more attractive feature. There's also a walking path proposed around the detention pond for residents to use. And then we're committed to providing, or rather continuing, the 8-foot walking path along Airport Road that Providence is installing as part of their Farmington subdivision. So that will create a continuous path on the right side of Airport Road from Route 6 south all the way to County Road 700 north. All of our open space areas and amenities will be owned and maintained by our HOA. So the HOA will handle all maintenance for the outlots, and each housing unit will have our low maintenance offering, which includes mowing, pond treatment, fertilization, landscaping, and a few other items, all taken care of by the HOA itself. And the provision of maintenance from the HOA does contribute to the maintenance of property values for not only the units in this community, but also those around it. And it prevents any outlots or individual units from becoming unkempt and in a state of disrepair. So now I'll move more into highlighting comments from both the last Plan Commission meeting and then our DRC meeting from January. So we received a few comments regarding the entrance monuments and any other unique features or elements that we could provide as part of this project. So the rendering on the screen shows our main entrance monument that we will install at the southeast corner of Airport Road and Sterling Creek Road. So this will be a large masonry and wood sign with the community logo and landscaping around the base, which will be integrated with other landscaping proposed along Airport Road. And this is our only monument sign that we do have proposed currently to enter into the community. The other monument type that we are providing will be at the entrances to private roads that are part of the townhome areas, which I'll detail shortly. So these will essentially be a more scaled down version of the main monument with the same masonry and wood with the community logo. These would have the private road name at the top and then be located opposite stop signs at intersections. So this is something that came up from the DRC, particularly from the street department. So not only will this be another design element, but it will also help the street department to know which roads are public versus private, which is particularly important during snow plowing in the winter. So then getting a little more in-depth about the roads for the project, the exhibit on the screen shows the public versus the private roads. So the public roads that will be owned and maintained by the city are shown in green, and then private roads that will be owned and maintained by the HOA are shown in blue. We've also added in 3 turnarounds at dead-end roads. There's 2 along the north property line, and then 1 along the east property line. These were also shown at the DRC meeting and approved by Chief Crail. I know that was something that had come up for, especially for ambulances and fire trucks to be able to pull in and then turn around more easily. We've also changed a handful of streets based on staff recommendations, since some of those names already existed in the city, so those have been reflected on this plan as well. We also expect the community to utilize cluster box units for the mailboxes, although that's ultimately a decision from the USPS. If we do have CBUs, they'll likely be either tan or black banks of 12 or 16 individual slots. And then for lighting, the street lights along the public roads will be standard NIPSCO spun aluminum lights, which are the style of street lights that are most commonly seen. And then the street lights along the private roads being black ornamental lights using the globe style, which is highlighted on the screen here, and not the lantern style. We've received a few comments from commission members regarding stormwater for the project. So I would again reiterate that we will comply with city standards regarding stormwater detention, just like every other new project that comes to the city. Final engineering plans for the project will be created once this rezoning process is completed. But we have had discussions with both city staff and our engineers, not only for stormwater, but all utilities in the area more broadly. So as a result, we do have a pretty good grasp on the utility situation at this stage, just to a more preliminary degree until we do begin that final engineering. Another topic that frequently comes up is the impact to the school district, and I've been in contact with Nick Grahn, who's the CFO of Portage Township Schools, regarding this project. I've reached out to him on 3 separate occasions since December, and each time he was appreciative that I had done so. He had also mentioned each of those times that there were no comments from the school corporation, but they were well aware of the project, and they might be viewing the meeting tonight to get additional information. We take keeping school districts informed of new projects very seriously, so I will continue to keep Portage Township Schools updated on the progress, not only of this project, but also our Sweetwater project as well. We would expect a smaller impact on the schools with this particular project due to the product types that we have. Our paired cottages tend to have more empty nesters or individuals looking to downsize, and the townhomes would tend to be more first-time home buyers or single couples. By the time someone has kids, they'd be more likely to move into a detached home with larger square footage overall and more yard space for kids to play in. The last item I'll mention is that we did have an adjacent property owner ask if we could relocate or eliminate one of the entrances, and we did bring this up in the DRC meeting, but staff was against making that change, so we did end up keeping all 3 entrances as it was originally proposed. So I know that was a lot of information, so if there's anything else that you'd like me to go through again or that I didn't cover, I'd be glad to. Otherwise, we'll take any questions or comments you have and then proceed with the public hearing.
Any questions from the board?
You said no rentals allowed. Are there any like
Yeah, we need to
exceptions
open
for
the
like
public
direct
hearing.
family members?
Sorry,
Things
oh,
like
hold on, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. I now open the public hearing for Althoff Homes. Do we have anybody speaking for or against?
Do you have a pen? Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I was kind of back and forth, against, for. I I really liked the last thing that you said. You said if there's something I missed, and you were speaking to the board, you said let you know. Well, I'm speaking to you guys. So yeah, the gentleman, I like the last thing he said. If there's something that he missed, let him know. Because I did find one thing missing. And I got to tell you, what kind of pulled me onto this gentleman's side is when he name dropped the chief. I really like our chief, and so it's like, well, if chief supports it, you know what I mean? I mean, I support what chief supports, and talked about like the firemen, drinking. I felt like that was like a tug at the heart. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that would be great. Makes you feel good. But I always like to look up reviews and see what the streets, for lack of a better word, have to say. And I never want to, try to like find something bad to say. A lot of times if it's only one thing bad and it's mainly good, I'll say, hey, there was only one bad and there's a lot of the good, and I'll read, the good. But I found here, most recently anyway, most of the reviews here on this internet site, so again, everything here, I guess, would be allegedly, but are bad. And I want to read some of them to you because I want to give a voice to some of the people here. And my hope is that as a city leadership board, you can take that into consideration and possibly ask questions about it, possibly require more information to protect the future residents of Portage, because that's what we're about, Portage. So in other words, whatever is, being alleged, or whatever grievances residents may have, what type of guarantee of a system will future Portage residents have to redress grievances? And maybe there is that as a plan already. I didn't hear any. That's something I didn't hear anything about in the presentation. So Nick, for example, said, I wouldn't take a home for free from these jamokes. Every person I know that has bought either brand new or secondary like myself has had nothing but issues. And they did reply and discussed, warranty coverage and some different things. So that was professional to give a professional reply. Then a month ago, Miguel Squadrito, if I could give a 0 stars, I would. Houses are made very cheaply, made multiple complaints from when we bought the house that was barely a year old and have nails coming off the walls and roofs, doors, so on and so forth. Again, they did provide a response, which is professional, not to ignore someone that, provides you feedback. 2 months before that, so those were 1 stars. Then the next one was a 2 star. Some good experiences and more not so good. Foundation cracks with multiple leaks. Foundation warranty is apparently only 1 year. Water coming through, so on and so forth. So I just share that, and I'll stop right there. I'm not, like I said, looking to, I don't know either of the gentlemen. I don't know the organization. I just kind of, look up, and, like I said, my thing to the, to the board is, let's, learn about how future Portage residents who may have concerns, what kind of process and ability future Portage residents, will have, or is it just, they may express that and they don't have a specific process. And then the last thing on my notes, because I took a couple of notes, what process will you consider? Yeah, that was really, my thought on the private roads. I wonder, are there public utilities on private roads? Because something can't be public and private. So if there's public utilities, you mentioned the lighting, so I'm assuming you'll own the lighting, but if there's sewer, if there's public utilities, that public property is always public property. If there's private, obviously it needs to be marked, but there are people that value the Constitution and value all of our service members that fought, and many died for the freedoms we have in America and for our rights, and don't like any of those, to be taken. So that's just, I'm not suggesting that anything you said or doing is incorrect. That was just a thought that I had, wondering, well, if there's public utilities, that is public property and would be accessible to the public. Thank you all so much, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Is there anybody else speaking for or against the prop?
Michael Cooper, 5455 Clem Road, here in Portage. I understand this is just a preliminary plan, but Sterling Creek Road from Willow Creek all the way to 500 is a meandering, curvy road that, puts a lot of character to that section of our city. But here in this plan, it kind of straightens out. It appears to be smaller and it dead ends. So I would ask to bring that to the board's attention. What is the plan from the city side in terms of Sterling Creek Road? Is that going to continue all the way through to, I know there's another parcel, but to Wolf Road, and kind of continue that character on that south side of 30 there for the neighborhoods down there. That's my only concern regarding this plan here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here to speak for or against the Old Tough Home project? Hearing none, I'll close this meeting. I'll close this hearing. Now, are there any questions from the board?
Do you want to have them address any of the questions that came up during public?
Certainly. So we have the 3 questions here. We're looking at, do you have any particular processes for the future residents to handle any residential concerns? We'll take them one at a time.
Yeah, so we, as the gentleman mentioned, we do monitor various reviews that are left on like sites such as Google or Yelp, things like that, maybe other realtor-related websites. We monitor those just to see comments, as he highlighted, for us to know any concerns or comments that do come from homeowners, either current or previous owners that have had issues. Or once you do purchase a home, we do have a warranty period that covers a variety of topics and items. So we do have a follow-up period and a process that we do follow to monitor any comments that people do have with their homes as soon as they do move in. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, so we have an initial walkthrough right before they close. So they'll walk through the home right before they close with individual homeowners, like construction managers, or sometimes one of the owners of the company shows up and walks through the home with them as well. After a 90-day period, we also do an additional walkthrough to identify, any minor blemishes that might have happened, drywall cracking, things like that. These are normal things that take place in new home construction as the home dries out and acclimates with the conditioning, air conditioning units and heating and things like that. So 90-day, there's another reach out period. And then finally, at the year end, we do our one final touch point with them, and we address any warranty items that would be outstanding at that point. We also offer all the standard warranties throughout the industry. So, there's larger warranties on roof and structural that's required of us by the state. Those are all part of the warranty that's offered with our homes. So we do definitely have a process. We've been building in Northwest Indiana for a very long time. We continue to wish to build in Northwest Indiana for a long time, so our reputation is very important to us, and we definitely have a process that's in place. So there's, existing owners out there that we need to touch base with to find out what those additional issues are. We're happy to do it. We just need to be told, so.
Thank you. Second question was public utilities on a private road. Are they public or considered private?
So he is correct. There will be utilities in the vicinity and underneath those roadways, but we will have easements in place that will allow for access for any companies or the municipality in order to get to those utilities.
Thank you. And lastly, the Sterling Creek Road, what is the plan to continue that on and keep the aesthetics? Is that correct? Yes.
So as the gentleman pointed out, for our segment that we do have shown on here, it is just a straight segment, since that fit with the layout that we currently have in front of you. In terms of any future plans from the city perspective, I'm not sure. I think Tom would be better to comment on that.
The properties to the east are privately residential properties, so there was no plans to continue that to McCool. Or, I'm sorry, Samuelson. So we're kind of landlocked there where the residential private properties begin, so.
Okay. Thank you. Any more concerns or discussions or questions from the board?
I just had the question, you said no rentals allowed. Are there gonna be like family special exceptions?
Well, I didn't specify that no rentals were allowed. We do have provisions in our covenants as part of the HOA that rentals are allowed in very unique circumstances. Hardship must be proven and be on file with the HOA. So we do have some rental language in there, but again, they're going to be marketed and sold fee simple individually, and then from there, case-by-case basis.
Reason why I ask, so I sell real estate, and one thing everybody's talking about, like now especially like people that have kids, they're like, there's no way our kids are gonna be able to afford to buy a house. Like, we're literally gonna have to buy our kids a home. You know what I mean? Like, and I hear this every day when I'm out. Like, people are just like, I don't know how kids are gonna make it. You know, that's why I was asking a family direction, like if a family member were to help another family member or whatever.
Yes, we do specify that particular instance in our covenants. Renting to a family member can occur.
Yeah, and just let me, so by federal law, we can't restrict renting completely. So we do have the ability to put things in our covenants that make it a little bit more difficult to do it. So that's the objective there.
Have you talked to Simon CRE or Kimley Horn about stormwater going north?
Yes, we have. We're in the process of working with them. I know they have their engineering in. We're working on our engineering. Manhard or Atwell Consulting's been in touch with their engineers, so.
And with the sanitary, with Providence?
We've discussed it with Providence. I believe where that ended was that we did not want to hold them up. So I believe they're still moving forward with their original plan. And then whatever modifications need to happen when we come in, we'll make those modifications.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a question about the 3 entrances. Where is the monument going to be located again?
So the monument sign will be at the southeast corner of that middle entrance.
Of Sterling?
Yes, Sterling Creek and Airport.
So it's going to be adjacent from the Preston Trail
Correct.
sign?
Yep.
What type of lighting is going to be at those entrances?
Just be street lighting.
Yeah.
We'll have a street light.
Street lighting, that the NIPSCO lighting
Yep.
then? So is there, I assume there are going to be floods on the monument?
We actually, I think, have this one proposed to be a backlit sign, so we wouldn't do flood lighting if we backlight it.
Backlight the sign?
Right,
from
the
within?
lettering would be backlit.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, awesome, okay. Then the only other question I have is the HOA. I assume this is going to be like a transitional HOA where you are going to be the HOA until there's a certain build-out, right?
Correct.
That's all I had.
Okay.
So I had a question on the sign. I think we talked about at the last meeting about the setback of it with visibility coming in and out of the subdivision. Did you guys address that issue about where it will be placed so it's strategically in an area that there won't be blind spots pulling in and out?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we will be outside the required vision triangle per Portage Code.
I have a question. So in regards to the dog park, and since it seems to be like in the boundaries of the private roads, is that a public dog park, or is it gated with a code for only the residents in the community?
We do gate and code our dog parks, and all amenities for this project will be privately owned and maintained by the HOA. So they will not be owned by the city of Portage and have the capability for anyone that lives in Portage to use that dog park. It will just be solely for the residents of this particular subdivision.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the favorable recommendation for Z-03-26 as proposed.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
The next three, too.
Sorry. Two more.
Yeah, two more.
Two more. No. Yeah. Sorry. Now we'll hear about Z-01-26.
Yeah, we have nothing further to add for either this item or the next one.
So we can open up the public hearing then for this one, but
Okay. So open up the public hearing. Anybody here to speak for or against Z-01-26?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I really appreciate, I'm in support now. I stand before you in support. I appreciate, the answer that the gentleman provided to what I expressed. I think, the public wants competency. The public wants to get the most for all of our hard-earned tax dollars, that we spend and provide to councils like yourselves to spend. So speaking of the first, competency, nothing is perfect in anything, but, you want leadership that appears that it's going to last long-term. And, one of the competencies of a leadership is providing a nice professional answer to, which really is just simply a question, at the end of the day. And I appreciate that this group did that. And with that, I stand in support, believing that, what they're doing will be the best for the city of Portage and future Portage residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak for or against? Hearing none, I'll close the hearing on this, this one. Now we'll discuss PD-01-26.
we'll still need a favorable or unfavorable for
We're going
this
to take them
one, too.
individually?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It's the way our code's written. We have to do each one separately. so.
Okay. So do we
I'd
have
like to make a motion to approve Z-01-26 as proposed. Give the favorable recommendation as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Jim did. Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to PD-01-26. We will now open the public hearing. Anybody here to speak for or against?
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I wanted to come back to this public versus private. If I heard the answer to the question that I first discussed as we're here talking about PD 0126 and this proposal, the answer I thought was city accessibility, and I'm speaking from public accessibility. So even if the pool, to enter the pool area is private or to enter the dog park is private, it's publicly accessible with an easement, so the public can still, it's a quote-unquote private road, the public still has the accessibility to walk the sidewalks or whatever amount the, portage easement is from the middle of the road. Being a private road doesn't take away the public's accessibility to walk the sidewalks. And that was because, and again, public utilities that are there, this public utility can't be private in all, residents. So that's just when I hear private roads. My clarification or, question or just comment or thought to the board, is the accessibility of the public. And even though it's a private road, it's still publicly accessible. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen of the board, and to this organization.
Thank you. So addressing the public versus private road accessibility.
Yeah, the gentleman is correct. While these are private, they will have access easements over the areas where the roadway is. I mean, that the access easement will essentially stand in for what's normally a public right-of-way. And really, the public versus private is simply an ownership question. Private roads are owned by the HOA, public roads are owned by the city. But yes, anyone can drive their vehicle on the private road. They can use the sidewalks that are within that access easement as well. There's no prohibition on that. It's simply just an ownership item.
Thank you. Any discussion from the board?
Can we bring up that drawing with the color codes for public? There we go. Now, the only reason why you having private roads is because those roads are going to be maintained, snow plows, garbage pickup. They're not limiting access to public. They're just providing a service for the people that reside in those areas.
Correct.
I think it's more for snow, because trash is all in the city, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, yes.
We would still be
Yes.
getting city services.
It's just for snow plowing.
Snowplow services.
I wouldn't oversimplify it. It's exactly how they presented it, and the underlying logic has more to do with the product that the private road is in and around than it does anything else. Correct?
Correct.
So you have your high density there, and those roads are being taken care of in those areas.
Any further comments from the board? So go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say, we have a motion for all three?
And there's not, well, it's just one.
One.
Right, but there's no contingencies on this approval, huh? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve P-01-26 as proposed.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now motion to adjourn. Motion. Second?
I have a question.
Yes.
Our first motion with this group, we were discussing the PD. And under Z0326, I believe that's the fire station. And did we discuss that one? Were there anything special about the fire department? Because I know we went directly to the other one. And it seemed as though the fire station wasn't what we were discussing.
We were only discussing the underlying zoning. So the zoning now allows for an not as if we were here reviewing a fire station plan or approving a fire station plan. We were only approving that the dirt would potentially have the right zoning to allow that to start or happen or occur in the future.
But then we made a presentation that said they met with the chief, and that was adequate for a satellite station.
Yep, correct.
The satellite firehouse.
That, and this is a moot point since we're closed, but that entrance where the fire station is, there been any discussion about the and this could be directed at the city, signal, stop signal?
We're not that far yet. We're just zoning. That's all we're doing.
And, yeah, and it would be the city, so.
Actually, we're not.
We're not adjourned. No, no. We have a motion. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.